U of A alum and former CEO of Macy's, Terry Lundgren, is back today as a part of our Cats Connect panel, just giving advice to our student athletes. I know pouring into the next generation of leaders is something that is so important to you. Why so, and when did that start for you?
Well, I think it started when I realized I needed to give something back after I was given so much on the campus of the University of Arizona. So I always tell people, this is where I grew up between my junior and senior year. I was a little off track. I got back on track, and things worked out for me later on, but I always attribute it to that time here. That sort of was a slap in the face for me to wake up and get serious and get focused on my education and my work and my future. And because of all that, I think good things have worked out for me ultimately, and now it's my turn to give back.
I love today, and I know so many student athletes talked about it too. You shared the motto, bloom where you're planted. Can you share more on that too?
Yes. So this happened when I was just graduated from the University of Arizona. I went to work for a department store in Los Angeles called Bullock's Department Store. It's now called Macy's. After about like a year and a half, and I was like in an assistant buyer role, I went to the guy who recruited me off campus and said, hey, I don't think I'm being utilized here. I don't really think I'm getting all that I could. I mean, I got a lot to contribute here. I mean, I'm 23 years old. What do I know? But I thought that I could contribute a lot more, and I thought I wasn't being utilized properly and all that. And he said, that's work that has to be done. That's work that somebody needs to get finished. And why don't you focus on that job? Stop worrying about getting promoted and going to the next job. Bloom here. Bloom where you've been planted in this one spot. And when you do, why don't you do that job better than anybody's ever done that job before? Because someday maybe you'll be supervising that job and you'll know just how well it could be done. It just really resonated with me, and we kind of developed the term bloom where you are planted. Don't look over your shoulder. Don't always look for the next thing. Whatever you're doing, do it extremely well, and others will notice, and then that will, rocket ship your career. And at least it did for me.
Well, yeah, you started off as basically a trainee and worked your way up to CEO. In addition to that advice of bloom where you're planted, you also talked about getting to know what other people are doing, learning the industry. What advice do you have for students across all different career landscapes and fields in doing that same thing?
Well, I think as I talked to these student athletes and others in the last today and yesterday on campus, one of the things I stressed was the bigger my job got, the more I realized I couldn't do it on my own. I needed a team of people who are really good and capable at their jobs, at their roles, and I figured out pretty early that I didn't have to know as much as they knew about their expertise and their role, but I had to know enough to ask them the right questions to make sure they were on their game and that they were the right person for that job. And the better job that I did of surrounding myself with great, talented, hardworking people and giving them clear direction about what their role was, the more successful I was going to be. And so that actually became a really important management skill and trait for me to give them credit, give them recognition, but really focus on surrounding myself with really talented people, and then I'll do better.
And final question for you. When we have these career-centric conversations, we talk about milestone moments a lot, those fundamental and really impactful moments. What one comes to mind when you think about your career journey?
Well, my milestone moment, I'm going to go all the way back to when I was 20 years old, and that's when I got the phone call from my father, and he cut me off. And so I'm one of six kids. I'm the only one who went to college. My parents didn't go to college, so it was a big privilege for me to go to college. And I didn't really take it as seriously my first 2 years. I didn't get good grades. I was just kind of goofing around. And then my father called and cut me off. I had to figure it out on my own. Then I went to work full time, went to college full time, and I did much better both. And work, got promoted a bunch of times, and then and in school. So that was really critically important to me because I realized, actually, if my back's against the wall and I have to get something done, I can do it. And I kept that mindset. I think it really helped me a lot in my career.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today, with our student athletes and the students across this campus. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Bear down.